Hi, this is Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today for Live with Annie. As usual, we've started the stream a bit early. This helps us get everything set up and broadcasting properly to our various platforms. You can find a countdown clock on the screen showing how long it will be until we actually go live. While you wait, please connect with us and other viewers in the chat. Let us know where you are from and whether you're a new or longtime viewer. We'll see you live soon. Thanks again for joining us for Live with Annie. We are so happy to have you with us today. While you wait for the program to start, we hope you'll enjoy the content playing on screen. There's so much inspiration, so take a moment to tell us what you love in the chat. Don't forget there is a countdown clock on the screen so you know how long until we go live. Hi, it's Annie again, reminding you that we'll be going live with this week's episode shortly. There is a countdown clock on the screen showing how much time is left. You've got just enough time to grab some water or a beverage of your choice and a snack, and to connect with us in the chat. We'd love to hear what you've been working on this week. it's Annie, back to remind you that we'll be starting this week's live very shortly. We've got a really fun episode planned for today, and we'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 10 of season 5 of Live with Annie. Today's episode is all about creativity, community, and giving back. We will be joined by the one and only Kim Greenfeld, a prolific maker, spirited storyteller, and someone who truly knows how to put the fun in fundraising. Kim has lots of ideas to share, so stay tuned. It is really great to see all of you here, and we know there are lots of things you could be doing with this time, so we always appreciate it when you make the time to be with us, even if you are catching us on the replay. Please be sure to take a moment to follow us wherever you are watching, and if you know someone else who you think might enjoy the information that we share, we would be really grateful if you'd tell them about Live with Annie. Just tag them while you're watching, as that will take them directly to the episode so they can watch it too. Also, we all love reading your comments, so be sure to interact with us throughout this presentation. We want to know what you think, and we love learning from you too. And if you have any questions, just add them in the comments or chat, and we will do our best to answer them before we close. In our last episode, we had a delightful visit with Amy Latta, an artist, author, lettering expert, and maker of all things beautiful. We showcased her creations, including Bloom and Sew, her brand new fabric line with Andover fabrics, and we showed some fun ByAnnie models that we made using it. If you missed that episode or want to watch it again, remember that you can find all the previous 192 episodes of Live with Annie on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or at ByAnnie.com. And we've put up all the links to make them easy for you to find. Quick drink of water before we start. And I probably shouldn't have put ice in there because now I'm going to have to swallow it. I am super happy to have Kim Greenfeld here with us today. Kim's stories and projects always bring me and others a smile, and I can't wait to hear more about the unique and meaningful ways that she's used to combine sewing with giving back. So Kim, welcome. I am so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm back. So I just want to say that I've been sewing up a storm, and I have so much to share today.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a scare because she sent the models last Monday, and they had said they would be here by Thursday. And on Monday morning when I came to work, they weren't here, and Kim was on her way here, and I texted her and said, I don't want to stress you, but which address did you send them to? And so she went to check the tracking and found out that they had gone to Phoenix instead of to Utah.
They needed a 5-day vacation. Who doesn't?
Yeah. So they arrived this morning. The post office was very helpful. They held them at the post office so we could pick them up and not wait for them to be delivered, but we've got lots to share. So Kim has made lots and lots of ByAnnie projects, some for gifting, some just for fun, some for really special causes. So Kim, can you tell us a little bit, how did the Sewing-for-Fundraising thing get started?
Well, I started making bags just for fun. And then I was asked by a former colleague at Trader Joe's to do some samples for a Southern California school fundraiser. So they sent me a box of school uniforms and Trader Joe's reusable shopping bags. And with those, I made open wides, clam ups, pillows, and even a quilt. And this quilt was amazing. It featured a center block with the school logo from a little girl's size 5 shirt, this tiny little thing. And then I surrounded that little embroidered logo with the plaid of the school uniform.
I love that idea.
Well, it did
It had to
itself.
be
I didn't
amazing.
even have to
Yeah.
think about it. So because this was a school that runs from kindergarten through 8th grade, the other blocks that I used in the quilt featured all kinds of age-appropriate kid-themed fabrics. That was the biggest seller of that event, and I believe it was purchased for the school principal.
I love that idea. It's really clever. And what I like about it is you were upcycling, you were storytelling, and you were fundraising all at once. So
Well, I'm all about
what a
reduce,
winner.
reuse, recycle, so
Yep.
wherever we can squeeze that in.
Perfect, perfect. I also really love the idea of using Trader Joe's shopping bags to make more bags. So tell us a little bit about how you pick the materials that you use.
Well, okay, first let me back up a minute. Let's talk about fabric and what I consider fabric. Yes, most of my retirement has already been spent at quilt stores on quilting fabric, so I have that stash. However, my description of fabric is anything that fits under my presser foot, and will have a needle go through it. So I think reusable shopping bags, even if laminated, candy wrappers. So I have a bag here that I made some clam ups from. And then you can even use, yes, no judging, you do have to eat the candy. I mean, you can't just throw it away, that's wasteful. So I did eat the candy to bring the bag. That was very convenient and for both of us. Anyway, so I started making some clam ups with my local farm stand bag and from Bishop's Orchards, and wanting to be, this is for a local fundraiser, so I wanted it to be appropriate, so I used fabric I had purchased years ago for my grandson, tractor lining. I also did the same with a few Trader Joe's bags. Trader Joe's has a cult following, so especially in Southern California, anything made with a Trader Joe's bag garners big bucks
Got that
at
one together.
fundraising. So I'd made, and they do regional and state bags, so this is from Connecticut, my new state. This is from a Connecticut Trader Joe's bag. Speed limit, 12 miles an hour.
Where?
I don't know, but if that's really true, I've been breaking it big time. Anyway, when I choose the fabric, I start by thinking, who's my audience?
Yeah.
And then once you figure out who's your audience, you can lead right into themes. And I'm a gal who loves a theme. So for an elementary PTA school fundraiser, you got a ton of themes. You know, think about all that Harry Potter fabric, the Star Wars fabric, Bluey, tractor fabric, you name it.
Yep.
So what I did is I had a bunch of Ed Emberley fabric. Ed Emberley is an artist that taught kids how to draw.
Is he
30
the
years
one
ago?
that did the Hungry Caterpillar? No,
No,
but
that's
he
Eric
does
Carle.
have books
He does. He has learned to draw books,
and kids' books because I recognize those
yeah,
guys.
he's got a great, very distinct style. Anyway, this is a great little packet in. I used I made the small size, and what I did is I eliminated the mesh, and I just did the panels on both sides. Makes a great kid's little lunch bag. Frankly, you could put the handle, and I think the next time I do it, I will do the handle on the other side, but then remember,
Directional fabric.
directional fabric.
Yeah.
Keep it in mind.
Make sure you turn it.
Absolutely.
So
And-
that's a decision you have to make before you sew or clip.
And hopefully it's not midnight or 2 a.m. and oops, right?
Yeah.
Unsewing is no fun.
that would
so-
make a great lunch bag. Yeah.
Well, it's fun. And I did not use any insulated anything in this, and it holds up just fine. So when I'm prepping for all of this, I have to remind myself, okay, who is the audience? Who's the fundraiser?
Who's
for?
the buyer?
And who's the buyer? It's not just for kids. So I think about who's paying for it. So I like to sprinkle in some stuff for adults as well. So in that vein, I have a place for everything. So one of the most important people in my life is an amazing, amazing artist, amazing woman. She created these panels. She did them with a Pigma pen on cotton fabric, and then she painted them with acrylics, and all I did is piece them in to make the panel big enough, and quilted them onto Soft and Stable. So it looks like I'm an amazing quilter. I'm not an amazing quilter.
Yeah, it looks like you did trapunto
No,
under those,
no.
the way they pop out.
No,
I love
but
it.
that's the beauty of Soft and Stable, especially in quilts too. You can really get that trapunto effect.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So all I did is go around outlining these.
So when you made this a place for everything, you just figured out what size that needed to be and added strips to
Exactly.
make it fit.
I actually do it a little bigger, and then I
after
I
quilt
size
the whole
it,
piece.
right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's really worth the effort to make something a bit larger that takes a little higher skill level for a fundraiser, because this is going to garner a lot higher bid than say a clam up.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, I've got a Zip It Up. This is one of my favorites. Here is a small Zip It Up bag that I made using a tote bag from the American Cancer Society. So this bag, most tote bags only are printed on one side. This tote bag was printed on both sides. So for the small Zip It Up, I was not able to incorporate the faith, hope, love, breast cancer awareness. So I'm going to make a large Zip It Up and have the panel go up vertically rather than horizontally.
I forgot to grab one. I was going to, but yeah. So if you put that on here, you can kind of see. On a large one, she can probably get the whole thing in. And even if you had to change the size a little bit or make this cut off a little bit. But I thought this was fabulous how even though you cut that design off, you totally get the effect of the flower exploding
and so
there.
much of it is the design,
Yeah.
you know. But the nice thing is, at
And
a
this
fundraiser,
fake
the
fabric to
two
go
could
with
sell
it.
as a set. You
Yeah.
know, they could sell as a small and a large, or you can break it up.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's whatever is going to garner the most funds for whatever organization you're sewing for.
Yeah, and I like that you just did the webbing on there for the handles.
Well,
little
I
things
call
that
myself
save
the
some
lazy.
time.
Yeah, I call myself the lazy sewist because making my own strapping and stuff would take so much time when I can just cut this and sew
it's
it.
perfect on
Bob's
there.
your uncle.
I'm sure I will. Yeah. So, as we've seen, you've worked with little tiny embroidered things that you used in the quilt. You've worked with big tote bags. How do you decide, like if you have a piece that you want to do, how do you decide what you're going to make from it?
Well, first I look at the logo size and the fabric type. So I really start by measuring the piece. And if I have on my phone and then on my computer, I've created a little cheat sheet to help me. So what I did is I gathered all of the patterns that I tend to use over and over, and I logged them into a spreadsheet with various sizes for the front pockets, the front panels, the borders, wherever I can put a logo or a design in. So I will choose a pattern based on the size of that piece I have, or
So
make
smart.
it bigger, or
Yeah.
cut it down and maybe lose a little piece of the design. So this is a peacekeeper. So for this peacekeeper, I used an embroidered beach towel that I purchased at my local hardware store, and it was the perfect size.
Yeah, for
the
that border.
perfect size for the border. So when I was at the hardware store, you know, they think I'm weird anyway because I'm coming in to buy fabric at the hardware store. But they all laugh when I open my purse and pull out my measuring tape. And then I have to pull out my phone to make sure that, okay, everything I've measured, that's actually going to fit in whatever I want to make, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little weird. But anyway, if it had been a big and bold logo, I could have used it in the body of the bag, either on the back,
Yep.
you know, right here, or what I like is having it right here and have it show right through the mesh.
Yeah. Or like I had said earlier, make that pocket out of vinyl instead, and then you'll really see it.
Oh,
through
that's
there.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Love
So
that.
lots of ways you can do that.
Very cool. Then while at the hardware store, I saw the beach towel with the Guilford, Connecticut, and right behind me was a lanyard. And so I thought, oh, that's not a lanyard, that's ribbon. So I thought it would be the perfect embellishment for this open wide bag, which I placed on map fabric.
I love it.
So it's for a local charity in this town. So I always measure the usable area. So I cut off whatever it is. If it's a shirt, I cut off the seams or the collars or whatever it is. That helps me know what pattern pieces are going to fit and whether I'm going to need to modify dimensions or say, this pattern won't work. Let me go to a different one.
Find another pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll add a strip of contrast fabric just to preserve that logo. But remember, it's all about honoring the memory while making it really super functional.
And what I love is, you know, you can make it out of any fabric, but doing special things like this not only make it really special when you go to sell it, but they make it more fun to make because it kind of challenges your brain. Where can I use this? How can I incorporate this? How can I make this just super special? And that really adds to the fun. So back looking at that one that you use the beach towel with, what do you do to protect or prep the
Stabilize?
fabric? That's the word. Because things like beach towels, things like T-shirts, those can be wiggly.
Ah, they stretch like a bad metaphor, okay? So for this peacekeeper, what I did is I used Pellin SF101 to stabilize the logo areas. And if it's really wonky, like on a t-shirt, I might use 2 layers, okay? But for heavier bags or canvas, I don't usually use any sort of stabilizer, but for this stuff, I will quilt soft and stable to get that kind of signature ByAnnie structure, right? I made a power trip right here out of one of those canvas bags. So in this, I did not back it. I don't have any lining. It's just the canvas, and it's for a pocket.
And it's perfect.
Yeah. I just loved it. So if I'm using it for a pocket, I simply cut out the logo part like this and go to town on my sewing.
If it's something sturdy enough like canvas.
Yep.
Probably if it was cotton, you'd at least put a lining.
I would definitely put a lining. I would put interfacing and a lining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe even soft and stable.
I'm like that.
Yeah. I really like soft and stable in my pockets because I think it makes them, but on a canvas like that, you certainly don't need it. And that's really cute. It's fun. And then the other fabrics that you used on there.
So the other fabrics, I worked at Trader Joe's for years and years. So I used one of my old shirts to do the outer parts, and then I used a different shirt to do the lining. You know, remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. So I've got a closet of them. Might as well cut them up and use them.
Yeah.
Right?
When you do that and you cut like the main part of it, do you just get rid of the rest, or do you save it for little projects to fit in?
It depends on what it is. This was just white canvas, the rest of it. So unfortunately, I didn't reuse it, but I certainly could.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So when you have that, how do you decide which pattern you're going to do?
Well, sometimes
for a fundraiser in particular.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on the fabric you have. The size is really going to determine it. So maybe, you know, do one or two larger projects that are going to bring in more money and a slew of smaller items. So do something small for. I love instant gratification as much as the next person. So I love doing little things like these fun, like tidy times.
I was going to show those.
Yeah, and remember, you want to have in a fundraiser, you want to have lower price points and higher price points.
Yeah. And these, I mean, if you centered like a school uniform logo there or a Trader Joe's logo there, and if you had a really tiny one, put it on here, you could make a set of a coaster and a little tray for snacks. And what a fun little gift.
And look what you've done with this one. So this one has a little, you know, maybe for a garden club, right?
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, I tried centering those designs either on the mat itself or within the little tray. So fun to do.
So I think about the price points. I like to vary it up, do some simple stuff, easy does-its, clam ups, and then I go into more time investment projects. And remember, don't go above your skill level, okay? Don't practice the hard stuff on fundraisers because you want to keep it easy, you want to keep it simple, and you want to keep it fun. Remember, we want to keep the fun in fundraising, all right? So when I was shopping for July 4th, I went to my local market and I bought all my food, you know, my corn, my watermelon, my chicken, all that kind of stuff. But I saw a wall of
tea towels.
Patriotic tea towels.
I love that.
Okay, so I saw this and I thought, that would go really well with my beloved collection of Alexander Henry pinup fabric. So, and I actually followed, those of you that know me, I'll make a ByAnnie pattern. The first time, I don't change a thing. After that, I do.
Sky's the limit.
Oh yeah, the wheels come off, you know. So on this one, I actually followed the pattern. But I made an executive decision, creative choice. Normally I would center something here. Instead, I wanted to preserve the stars and the stripes and have it on the front panel, but I was too lazy, the lazy sewist, to unsew it and move it up. So I said, nah, it's good enough for government work. So I did this. The nice thing is there's no political affiliation at fundraisers for patriotic stuff, and they sell really well. So I highly recommend doing a little.
It's interesting. Amy Lotta, who was our guest on live last time, sent me a new line of fabric she has that's called Oh Say Can You Sew, and it's all patriotic themed. And I said, I'm not really into red, white, and blue right now. You know, I'm not sure what I want to do. And she said that they had done a fundraiser, not a fundraiser, like a thing where people sent in hearts that they had made. And someone made a whole bunch of hearts using fabrics from the various services. And she said when they took them to the hospitals and the nursing homes and stuff and were passing them out, all the men were, you know, going through everything to find the ones that represented their services.
Oh, I love
that. So, and she said, I watched that and saw how much that meant to all of them. And so she said, I designed this with poppies and in terms of veterans and things like that, and put things on that would apply to people who've served their country. And I thought, that's a really nice way to look at it.
I love when people in our community take the uniforms with the name and that to me is like, oh,
And they put them on the bags, yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I
Love
do too.
that.
But that makes them really super special. But then you've got to show this.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of took the wheels off a little bit on this one. But
Okay,
I absolutely
so this
love this one.
actually, this is from a pair of kids' pajamas, because remember, you're doing PTAs, you're doing all different kinds of, a lot of these are school fundraisers, right? So this was a pair of kids' pajamas. I love to go to thrift shops and buy whatever they have. And this is I know it doesn't necessarily look like it, but this, I pretty much followed the ByAnnie pattern with one difference. Rather than doing the handles on the side, I did them over the top because I figured some little kid is going to want to be,
Some little
Draw a
girl
line.
is going to love that, yeah. I thought that was so clever and so easy. So you just sewed one on each side. How did you decide where to go? Just measured where the top of it turned over and then folded them half in the middle?
Am I allowed to say this to Annie? I didn't measure. I eyeballed it.
And you just set them on there and went. And how'd you make sure the other one matched?
I
Luck?
eyeballed it. I don't call myself the lazy sewist for nothing.
Well, what I really love is that you left the zipper on there.
And I did that. It wasn't a creative choice. It was, these were really tiny pajamas, and I wasn't sure I could stretch the
Stretch it
fabric enough,
Yeah, I would be tempted if I ever did that too, to put a zipper pull on there and have it that you could open it from the front, because I think a kid would get just a kick out of that.
That would be so fun.
That would be really fun.
I had time constraints and brain constraints.
It was probably the middle of the night. Yeah,
probably.
Well, and I said too, I've just grandsons, but I'd bid on that. I think it's just so cute.
Hey, if the price is right, it might be yours.
Yeah, sounds good. So in addition, actually before we do that, I wanted to, when we were talking earlier and we were talking about buying stuff at thrift shops, maybe not just your grandkids' pajamas, but the things that you look for at thrift shops. And one of the things you had said was wool. And talk about that, what you look for.
So I love making all different kinds of bags from anything that I deem fabric. Remember, if it fits under your presser foot and your needle can go through it, I deem that as fabric. So I like to buy, well, now I'm going to tell people, and they're going to go to my thrift shop and buy all my stuff.
They don't know where you live. They may.
Yeah, they do. Guilford, Connecticut. Okay, there you go. No, I like to buy skirts, especially larger size women's wool skirts. I take out the lining. I throw them in a hot washing machine. I put them in a hot dryer, and then I have beautiful felted wool.
Yeah, and I brought out this one. So this is a little out and about that we made using a blanket weight wool from Pendleton Wool, but we didn't put any soft and stable in this, and that's the great thing about using the felted wool is you don't need it. So we skipped the soft and stable. We just cut the bag out of the wool, and then we added lining where appropriate, and where not, we just bound the edges. But
Has a beautiful hand.
Yeah. I may have to retire this one and make this my backpack because that's so darn cute.
Well, if you can't find it, you might want to check my suitcase on the way out.
But felted wool, I've gone to the thrift store too and bought it, and I agree. Women's skirts are the things. Don't buy men's coats, because men's jackets have so many seams in them and so much interfacing in it, and you don't end up with nearly enough usable fabric.
It'll take you forever just to take it apart.
Yeah. But the hot water and the hot drying really does make all those fibers come up close, and I use them in our pattern needle case and wool pincushion, and I just cut them out with one of those wavy pinking shears, and it never frays. It just makes
I just use a regular rotary cutter.
Yeah. Make great pincushions too. So the other things that you can do, we've talked about clam ups, we've talked about Easy Does It, Peacekeeper, little things. Another thing you could do is something like a bosom buddy. And where did I put those bosom buddies? I'm not sure. I got back here with them.
We talked about them.
We talked about them, and I pulled them out, but I don't know where I put them. But I'm going to show this one. So this is one we're going to talk about in a little while. But Bosom Buddy is designed to put on a seatbelt to protect if you've had a surgery. You can put them on the chest belt. You can put them on the across your waist. And these are super simple and easy to make. And again, could be a great place to put a logo. And
I've never,
something out
true
of a
confession, I've never made a Bosom Buddy. Guess what I'll be making when I get home?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're really nice. A school backpack would be great, especially if you're doing a fundraiser for a school. And like you said, not just for the kids, but the teachers might like one.
Exactly.
The parents might like one. Anyone would like one. And then the other thing that we talked about that I think would be perfect for a fundraiser are placemats. So again, if it's a school, this is one that we made, and this is our pattern called, I left it on so I would remember, Simple Strips Placemats, and each of these include 2 different styles. So here's one where we just did a variety of fabrics for the front, but on this one where it has a big space for a focal fabric, instead of putting a focal fabric in here, we did chalkboard fabric. So
Brilliant.
the kids could entertain themselves while while you're waiting for dinner, and a fun way to do that. And I could see any grandparent or whatever but picking up one of these to
I think they're
give
so fun.
as gifts for Christmas. Then we did, you can do a holiday theme. If you've got a fundraiser that's coming up before Christmas or before winter, these feature ice skaters. This is a different pattern called Easy Flip and Sew placemats. So great for fun fabrics that have motifs, and then you can do a little bit of a patchwork border on each of them. And all of these placemats are designed to be made with Soft and Stable, and you do the quilt as you go through just the Soft and Stable. So after
Super
your
fast.
front is done, then you put your backing on. You make sure it extends an inch beyond all the way around. You fold the binding over, turn it down, stitch it down. So you're not doing bindings. You're not doing something extra quilting, and when you're done, your back is completely free. When you let go, the Soft and Stable is like a magnet. It pulls it back into place, but you've got completely reversible placemats. So you've got this fun design on this side, but if they want just red and green on their table, they can flip them over and do that side too.
Well, and I'll tell you, I made a lot of placemats using quilting batting.
Yep.
And I've got to tell you, when I switched to Soft and Stable, game changer. When I wash them, I no longer have to iron them. All I do is sit it flat. They're perfect,
Smooth it out.
and they come out looking
Brand new.
brand new every time.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and they wash beautifully. This is a pattern called Table for 4, and this pattern includes placemats that you can make. So it's all big pieces. So these are super fast to make. So you join these 2 pieces together. No, maybe it's these 2 pieces. So you start here, you do that one, you do this one, you do this one, then these 2 are joined together, so you sew this one on last. So 5 seams, and it's
great.
done. And again, you've got, your back can be something totally different, so it looks nice on both sides.
To me, that means this is dinner when the guests come over on Tuesday night, but then by Friday,
This is dinner,
Yeah.
yeah. And so the pattern includes instructions how to make placemats or how to combine 3 of those mats to make a table runner.
Oh.
So this would be,
That's a great idea.
a lovely idea for a fundraiser.
and if you have a longer banquet table, you could
you can
certainly
make
extend
it as long as you want. And
That's
the pattern
fun.
also includes instructions to make napkins. So you can make
Wow.
napkins that, have something on both sides.
Mom, do you see what's in your future? Napkins.
Napkins. Oh, yeah, that's right. You were saying your mom wants to have napkins
Oh, yeah.
made. Yep. So this is a really super fun pattern, and not one I remember to talk about a lot, but super. I think these would
Really
be
crisp.
amazing for a fundraiser. Who can't
And
use
remember,
a set of placemats?
kiss, kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. That's my personal motto, because I don't want to go above and beyond not only my skill level, but my time and effort level.
Mm-hmm. And those are so perfect for using up scraps from your stash, which are something we're all looking for. All right, so we've talked about what to make, what to use for it. What has been your experience with the impact of these items that you've made?
Well, good and bad, it has been so positive that I'm being asked to do more. So be careful, know your limitations. But people love these bags. They love the connection to the school or the event. They love using something that's handmade and really practical. So whether it's a tote made from a Trader Joe's bag or a clam up from a kindergarten shirt, there's really heart and soul in every stitch. We're raising lots of money for good causes, and that's what it boils down to. That's what it's all about.
I agree. And that's really, I think, what I love about sewing. It connects us, it heals us, and it helps us give back. So that's super fun.
And it keeps me off the streets, okay? So just saying.
Just saying. Yeah. So I know that this is a question people are going to ask, and it was my question too. How do these work? Do you, when you make something for a fundraiser and you deliver it to whoever is organizing it, do you set a price on it? Or
No, if I
how
did
does go?
that, nothing would sell because they're priceless. I made them, right? No, I don't price anything. So whomever is handling or managing the fundraiser, whether it's a silent auction or there's an actual live auctioneer, they will set the minimum bid. And once the bidding commences, then the sky's the limit. So remember, it's not how much money they get for something. Remember, somebody wanted it. They determined by their bid what they deemed a fair price, okay? And that's the benefit to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you kind of, anytime you give something like this, give a gift, you do that, you can't look at what the value assign on it. Because to me, when I start sewing something, I have found that I have to decide before I ever start sewing that it's going to be given away or that it's going to be made for somebody, because I get too attached to it, and after I've finished with it, I'm not ready to give it up. So I have to have that mindset when I start. And then what's lovely about that is the entire time I'm sewing, I'm thinking about that person, and they're in my mind the whole way, and I realize that they're going to enjoy it. And then to me, the sewing is the fun. I mean, I love that journey. And so I don't even keep track of the time. I don't, or any of that. It's just like, here.
Well, I've gotten to the point where
gift.
I make bags for the same person over and over, the same people over and over. So in my little world, my peeps have their own personalized fabric.
Really?
So I know that, okay, this Anna Maria is for so-and-so, this Tula is for so-and-so, this Tilda is for,
You know what they like.
And I know what they like, and so I buy a lot of yardage, and when I give the first bag, if they like it, I say, okay, so for the holidays they're getting this, for the birthday they're getting that.
Yeah, and that's fun. That's really fun. So if somebody watching today wants to start sewing for a cause, what's your advice to them?
Start with what you have. Dig through your stash. It could be your stash of fabric. It could be your stash of old teas, totes, miscellaneous items you got on a trip, a tea towel, a reusable shopping bag, any embroidered piece, and choose whatever speaks to you. Know your audience. What's the theme? Stabilize when needed. Play with pattern pieces, but most of all, have fun. This isn't about stress, about perfection. It's not rocket science. It's the story and the intention that matter more than anything else. So these bags are about heart and connection, not about flawless stitching. Don't anybody look too close at my stitching, okay? And keep your eyes peeled for cool logos, bold colors, fun fabric textures. You never know what's going to make that perfect front panel or that pocket. Don't be afraid to try something new. Again, it's just sewing, people.
It's just sewing.
Just sewing.
Such great advice. And I really love that you can make one bag for a fundraiser, or you can make a whole collection of things. It just
I wish I
depends on
could
your
just
time.
make one bag for a fundraiser. Unfortunately, I'm not a one bag wonder. They tend to multiply.
I think we're all there. And you know what? If you can pick fabrics that work, it's just as easy to make 10 of them at once, so long as you're not doing the wrong step and you have to undo 10 things all at once.
Well, I like to do assembly line production. I like to prep way in advance, put them in bags, label everything, and then if I'm looking, jonesing for a new product, I'll say, oh, grab a bag and
there you go.
Yeah,
and it's all ready to go, for sure. So let's see if our viewers have any questions. So where did you get the cancer awareness tote?
I believe I got it on the
American Cancer
Cancer Society website. I want to say it was $14.99, but I bought it several months ago, so.
But yeah, it's beautiful.
But it was
really
printed on both
one.
sides, which you get, it's a twofer. I view that as a twofer.
Yeah, I agree, and it's so pretty. Next question was, have you ever treated fabric with Terial Magic? It's a liquid stabilizer that makes fabric feel more paper-like and easier to cut.
I've never even heard of it, but I thank you for, no, I haven't tried that.
Matthew at MX Domestic, they have done several things with it, and I've seen when they do posts, you'll have to look there. Okay. I don't know what the relationship is there, but that's where I've seen it. I've never tried it either, so
very cool.
Thank you for the suggestion. It would be fun to try it on a basket or something that you really want to have some stability and to stand up straight. And baskets would be a great thing, because who can't use a container to put something in, for sure.
Well, I did a couple of in controls. I didn't bring them, but I did a couple of in controls with kid themes.
Or our contain yourself that make the bins that go on. I think that'd be a
Absolutely.
super easy thing to make for a
And
thing.
I like to
and
do
no
room with-
zippers, none of that.
Well, I like to do rooms with a view, a room with a view, and I eliminate. Shh! Don't tell the pattern maker. I eliminate the vinyl.
Really? And you just do fabric all the way around of
Yeah.
it? That's nice.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah.
And then it's got the closure.
Closure on the lid. Yeah, those are fun. All right, how do you package your items? Oh, package them for I assume she's talking about for display at a fundraiser. Do you do anything?
I don't. I have a big old box. I pass them off to the whomever is managing the fundraiser,
And that's their job. Yeah.
yeah.
I've not gone to a whole lot of fundraisers like that, but anything I've seen has been much. You pick it up and look at it, and you can.
Yeah, no,
examine
they
it
do a
and
whole
see it.
setup, and depending on who it is, the PTA, it was all on, kind of banquet tables, and
Yeah, with the little clipboard.
and
in
it
front
depends if
where
it's
you
a
put your
silent.
bid.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a silent auction like that, then it's definitely displayed. But if it's an auctioneer, they'll display it, and then so
He'll
you have
hold
to
it
get there
up.
exactly.
Yeah, he'll hold it up at the front. All right. Well, Kim, thank you so much for being with us today. I always love your humor, your stories, your energy. You you inspire me, and I'm sure all of our viewers too. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
One thing before I forget, if people want to follow you and connect with what you're doing, how do they find you?
Probably on the Facebook Bag Makers group. That's
So the ByAnnie Bag
yeah,
Makers
because
Facebook group.
I do have an at Kim G the Lazy Sewist Instagram, but I've been bad at checking it lately. So probably on the Facebook page.
Okay. So yeah, if you're not aware of it, there's a group on Facebook called ByAnnie Bag Makers. Last time I looked, it had like 44,000 members.
Holy smoke!
All over the world, and they are fabulous at sharing ideas, sharing tips, offering suggestions. Everybody has really missed Kim because she's been busy for a few months. She's
you.
moved and done all kinds of things.
Life hit. That happens to the best of us.
But I think she's ready to be back. So
well, thank you
watch
so much.
Watch for things coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, this community, this group, I'm so grateful for your patterns. I've done a lot of patterns out there, and yours are those fail-proof. I just read it step by step. If I don't understand it, I read it out loud.
Step by step.
Step by step, right? But anyway, I truly appreciate this community, ByAnnie Company and the ByAnnie community at large. It's really enriched my life. It's made me a better sewist. And are we done yet? Because I'm kind of jonesing to get upstairs. There is a kick-ass sewing room up there.
Well, you're done.
Okay, thank you.
But sit tight because we've got lots more to cover today. So before we go on, I have to have another drink. It is hot in this room. We have lights all the way around. It's supposed to be 108, I think, today. So we can't have the air conditioning going on because it's too noisy. So you're going to see me drinking a lot of water. You might want to have a little drink
Although
too.
I'm a professional yapper, so.
So have no trouble keeping going. I don't know. I'm not. So anyway, thank you all for joining us today. If you are inspired by Kim's projects and stuff, we would really love to see what you come up with for fundraising or upcycled creations. So just share them with us on social media and also submit them to our monthly photo contest. The great thing about the photo contest is it goes up on our website and it's there for people to look at whenever.
Major inspiration.
So it's a nice way to know how to find it later. And as always, please ask for our patterns and supplies at your local quilt shop. Those shops are such an important part of our sewing and quilting communities, and it really is up to all of us to keep them strong and vibrant. And if they don't have our patterns or other products, they can certainly get them either from their favorite distributor or directly from us. And we're always happy to set up wholesale accounts for qualified shops, so just ask them to contact us for more information.
Announcements! Oh.
I have to say, following a script is so much more fun when Kim is here. So I usually just see the sign that says announcements and go straight into it. But
wait, did I say that out loud? Sorry, my bad.
So back in your corner. Yeah. All right, but we do have some announcements today. So first of all, we want to remind you that we have a new video series for those of you who might miss our every week lives. So in April, we started something called ByAnnie Patchport, and it's a way to piece together your knowledge of the global sewing community. And in each video, and we've done I think 4 of them now, there's a variety of interviews, inspiration, and information about what is happening in our community. So whether you are looking for tips for your next project, or if you want to stay up to date with the latest on our local quilt shop contest winners, there is something for everyone in each video. In our last video, we talked about how exciting the sewing community can be. It's not just a bunch of old ladies sitting around talking about their grandkids.
Well,
that does
well,
happen
that happens,
sometimes too. Yeah. The sewing community is full of laughter and vibrant creative personalities. One of my favorite colorful people, Jade Newman from Lovely Jubbly Fabrics, came here to St. George in July for a week-long sewing vacation. I'm not sure she termed it a vacation. I really put her to work. She helped me completely revamp an upcoming pattern that was giving me kind of a headache, and in exchange, I gave her ice cream for dinner. So you can hear all about our adventures in our Sewing as a Party episode of ByAnnie Patchport. And if you're still hungry for more content, Jade and I talked a little too long about fussy cutting to fit in that Patchport episode, so we took the whole conversation and put it in its own video, which is called Fussy Cutting with Jade Newman. And trust me, you won't want to miss that video. She's got some great tips in there. We also want to take a minute to talk about a community we have recently joined called the We Do Not Care Club. If you follow us on social media, you have probably seen a video of us talking about different things we don't care about, like clean sewing rooms, perfect points, and threads on our clothes. And this is all part of a greater movement that was started by Melanie Sanders of Just Being Melanie. Melanie started the We Do Not Care Club for perimenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal women. And this club became a community full of women lifting each other up and reminding themselves that it's okay to not care so much. There can be so much pressure to be perfect and care about every little detail in life, all while you're battling hot flashes and brain fog. And finally, Melanie said enough is enough, and she made a club for anyone who's sick and tired of striving for perfection. We thought this was an excellent cause to share with our audience, many of whom are women, and many of whom are in menopause or peri or post. And so as sewists, I know we can all be the worst perfectionists. So we just want to remind you, we do not care about crooked binding or upside down panels. We don't care if you've made the same pattern a dozen times because it's the one that makes you happy. We don't care if when you're hammering to reduce bulk, you release a little anger on your project. What we do care about is producing patterns that you enjoy making and creating an uplifting community where anyone can make a project of which they are proud. Kim and I are going to film some new announcements for the We Do Not Care Club before she leaves, so keep your eye out for those. They're sure to be fun. All right, one more topic that I don't want to miss today is our monthly cancer awareness reminder. August is Appendix Cancer Awareness Month. And this is not a cancer I had ever heard of. Where's my bosom buddy?
Down there.
Way down there, thank you very much. So appendix cancer or appendiceal cancer occurs when cells in the appendix grow uncontrollably. It's extremely rare, which is probably why I'd never heard of it, there's only 1 or 2 cases per million people per year, according to the National Organization for Rare Disorders. So one of the big challenges of diagnosing this type of cancer is that it often causes no symptoms in the early stages. So when symptoms do occur, they can be vague, they can be easily mistaken for more common conditions such as abdominal pain, which often resembles appendicitis, bloating, a feeling of fullness, changes in bowel habits, or unexpected weight loss, which are symptoms of a lot of things.
Right.
So because of the lack of really clear symptoms, many cases are discovered accidentally when you're getting surgery, perhaps for appendicitis, or if you're getting imaging for other unrelated conditions. And diagnosis usually involves imaging techniques such as CT scans, along with biopsy and histological analysis of any suspicious tissue. Once diagnosed, treatment depends on the type and stage of the cancer, so options may include surgery and chemotherapy. Although rare, appendix cancer is a serious condition, and that highlights the importance of careful evaluation boy, these are a lot of big words. Careful evaluation during abdominal surgeries and awareness of unusual symptoms. So as research continues, early detection and advanced treatments offer hope for better outcomes in the future. So for our part, we really wanted to highlight a project that you can make for anyone who has had a recent abdomen surgery. And so we got our seatbelt cushion pattern bosom buddy out. And while this pattern was designed with breast cancer in mind, it can also be a useful tool for anyone who is experiencing discomfort while driving. And back in April, Sarah P. had submitted a photo of a horizontal bosom buddy that she made for her hysterectomy recovery. And she submitted that in our photo contest. And we thought that was such a clever idea for anyone whose abdomen is tender from a recent surgery or treatment, so we decided to make one too. And the color for appendix cancer awareness is amber. We used some fabric from Hoffman Fabrics, and the colors we used are called ginger, spice, and butternut squash, which I think sound good enough to eat.
And they're beautiful
colors. And they're
colors.
really pretty, yeah. I actually think this reminds me of a pair of Carhartts. So very masculine,
Oh yeah, it really
I think.
does.
But remember that we have prepared a color chart showing the solid fabrics from 16 different manufacturers. So if you want to make a project to spread awareness for any of the cancers throughout the year, you'll find links to that on our blog or by going to the SewPINK page at ByAnnie.com. So for this one, I went to Angela Bowman's website, Sewfinity.com. She has a pattern there for a 6-inch awareness block, which was exactly the right size to fit the height. I made the block and then I just added strips on the sides to make it wide enough to fit the finished size. And then I just followed the pattern to put it all together. So when you wear this, the ribbon will go against your tummy, and then you'll open this and put the seatbelt through there. So a bosom buddy in either a horizontal or a vertical position would be great for anyone who's undergoing treatment for medical conditions. They also make really beautiful gifts for caregivers and others to help spread awareness. So I hope you'll be inspired too to make something to spread awareness of appendix cancer. And thank you again to everyone who joined us today. We will be back on Wednesday, September 4th at 2 p.m. Mountain Time with another really inspiring episode of Live with Annie. We are going to be joined by Jerry Kiev, who is the artistic director for Lumen Fabrics, which includes Island Batik, and he's going to talk about the process of making their beautiful batik fabrics. And of course, we'll have some fun ByAnnie models to share. So mark your calendars now, and until then, happy stitching!